Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what we're getting into, you know what we're getting into. Love is Blind season 8. We're now on episode 3 and it's called The Hunger Games of Love. And boy, so did The Hunger Games really come out. These people were playing so many games with each other. And I have realised that Madison, and I'll get to it before we get into this video, but Madison is an expert in these games. She's an expert in that art of manipulation to get what it is that she wants. I'll give it to her though, that once she sets her sights on something, she goes for it. She ain't one to sit back. Anyway, before I get into this video, as I always ask my people, is please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm going to do videos. Please comment, like, share and do the good things that you do, because you know what, I continue to be on the road to 1k. Okay, so we pick up where we left off on the last episode, where Joey and Monica actually get to meet. Let's just put it this way, Monica has a lot of energy. She has a lot of unused freaking energy that Joey did not know what to do with himself. Like seriously, he even had to offer this girl champagne just to calm herself down. Do you know what I mean? It was a good meeting. They were funny with each other. I think there could have possibly been a little bit of awkward moments, but it was literally carried by Monica's level of excitement. Like, it was a madness. She kept staring at him. She basically found him beautiful, believed that he looked like Tarzan. He found her beautiful. They didn't kiss at first, and then it was like, I believe it was Joey that asked if he's able to kiss her, and she gave that permission to. He didn't even remember which finger the ring was meant to go on. I was like, it was that was the most weird but funniest stroke awkward, what's the freaking word? Awkwardest, that's it, awkwardest meeting I've ever seen before in my life, like seriously. So then it moves on, as you do, and we see Taylor and Daniel go on a date. Basically, Daniel was basically excited when he says he got the call from Love is Blind, and the fact that he feels that he's fully connected with Taylor, and it's nerve-wracking for him. And I thought, well, Taylor, this is your cue to actually reassure this man that you feel exactly the same way. She doesn't fully expand on anything that Daniel says, and I'm kind of thinking to myself, does she actually feel the same way about this dude or not? I mean, during the rest of this episode, you don't really see much of Taylor and Daniel, to be honest with you. Like, she talks of, like, you know, a certain happiness that she feels doesn't exist for her. And I'm just like, why do they talk this way in the pods? Do you know what I mean? You're sitting here with a man who is literally gung-ho for you, literally sees you as a potential partner, a potential wife, potentially asking you to marry him, and you're sitting there saying, I don't think happiness like that exists for me. So what in essence are you really saying? Like, really well and truly, are you saying that Daniel is definitely not the one for you, but you're gonna, like, you know, coast through because you want to get to the next level? You want to be able to go on that hideaway journey. You want to be able to do the whole process of living together and being on TV and X, Y, and Z. But my thing is you're supposed to be here to find a husband. You're supposed to be here to find your person. So if that person is not Daniel, then you should let him down lightly and let him know that, you know what I mean, and leave the experiment altogether. But these people are not bred that way. They ain't going to do that. They're not going to do it. So then we see Sarah and Ben have a date. So Ben brings up the conversation again in regards to him being comfortable around Sarah's sister, because don't forget, Sarah's sister is part of the LGBTQI plus community. So he wanted to give Sarah certainty, and again says that I support that community. And this is what I mean. Don't say the word that. It's the LGBTQIA plus community. You can say the words. Do you know what I mean? It ain't gonna freaking burn you in hell for here and ever after at the end of the day. And this is what I mean about Ben. He's going to say all these platitudes and give this and give that, but to me it's coming across as him not being genuine at the end of the day, because he keeps on what's the word, describing the community as that community. Which community is it? Like, seriously, there's a lot of communities out there. Which one are you talking about? At the end of the day, it has a name. To say the words LGBTQIA plus community, I mean, the way that he's saying it is literally just generalizing it to me. At the end of the day, it's almost like he's afraid to speak of it. So he, even though he talks about how his faith is in terms of being accepting, I don't know, but this conversation was not giving me the good right vibes at the end of the day. Because my thing is, and Sarah is right when she said that, like, you don't have to bring it up consistently. You really don't. At the end of the day, Sarah is intentional in terms of bringing her sister up, because she needs to gauge the meta of people in where they are and where they stand in regards to the LGBTQIA plus community, right? Because it's important to her due to the fact that her sister is a part of it. So she says that she notices responses of others. She's lost friends, or she hasn't seen the person that she's been talking to the next day, and that's really telling for her. But what's really telling for me right now is the fact that Ben had to literally bring it back up to reassure Sarah that he's on board with her. And I honestly don't think he is, because it's that old adage, it's that old saying, one doth protest too much. So you see Madison, and basically she's talking in her VC, and she's talking about how she feels that the energy is different with Alex right about now, and how she says that she feels she can't say anything about it, or she can't do anything about it is the correct words. But she says in the real world that would have made her run away. I'm just like, my girl, you're in a container. You're in a container in a damn pod. Where the fuck are you going? Like, seriously, where the fuck are you going? Because the question is, if you was outside with Alex and this situation happened to occur, would you then run? Because that then would be the real freaking world, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, just as Alex says that he wants reassurance from her, I don't think Madison will be able to give him that reassurance, no matter how much she bleats the obvious that she will. I don't think she's going to be able to give him that reassurance, the reassurance that he's looking for at the end of the day. In essence, Madison was saying that this literally was the realm in which she realized that she had feelings for Alex. I just thought, what in the toxic hell is that? I am kerfuffled. I am bamboozled by this woman. Like, seriously, because she can blow hot and cold like a motherfucker up in this place. So she's now saying that she has a connection to Alex, and she wants to show him that what he was given and provided to him by her, I might add, is not her. It's not the way she is. Madison and Alex have a date. She decides to give him her beryllium. You know what the fuck I mean anyway. That she sleeps with, to Alex. So she's put it in the room with him. So she decides that he can keep that for the whole night. And Alex has to promise to see her again. I was like, Alex, that was too damn easy the way that man said deal. He literally felt like a stack of bloody cards, let me tell ya. He didn't even know that Madison was manipulating him with that bear. Like, seriously manipulating with him that bear. Even in her VC, when she said that she has to accept the fact that, you know what, his energy has lowered for her and the reasons why. No, Madison weren't going to take that lying down. That was just literally the gauntlet being thrown down. So as I said, I see games afoot with this girl. So it's a case of she almost got rejected by Alex, but now she wants him. You get the pattern of behavior, don't you? You get the pattern of behavior. So Alex is fully taken in by what it is that that Madison is spewing to him at the end of the day. So she wanted him to know that she's not that person anymore. So she then brings up to him that he's anxiously attached, which Alex still is, by the way. He still is anxiously attached, and she is avoidantly attached, which I believe Madison still is. I know she's saying that she's doing the work, she's doing this, she's doing that, but I really want to truly believe that she's not actually doing zip all. She's probably done the bare minimum so far to scratch the surface. I really don't think she's worked fully on the issues that she needs to work on, and I don't think Alex has as well. So Madison basically said that it hurt when Alex said, I don't know if I am dating you because I've dated you before, because let's not forget, those that do not work on themselves or do enough of the work tend to go back to like. So Alex has gone back to like with Madison, and Madison has gone back to like with Alex, because I think that's the type of people that they necessarily go for, to be honest with you. So I think Madison has dated many Alexes before. That's what I'm going to say. So no, Alex believes that and trusts Madison. So he's being very, 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 very contrite in the face of what Madison is saying. So basically the Bear Alien fixed it all. That's what it comes down to. The Bear Alien fixed it all in regards to them. So now Madison knows Alex's hot points. So she wants him basically to feel safe and cared about. And that's why she provided him with the bear. So Madison knew exactly how to play Alex like a freaking fiddle. Show him enough affection that he would be putting in her hands. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So you see within that date that Alex does a visual exercise with Madison, and it was cool. It got them to lay down, it got them to relax, it got them to talk about like things that you would talk about to someone if you pictured yourself laying under the stars. So you see Alex literally skip happy, go to the men's lounge happy like a pig in freaking shit. Yeah, he couldn't wait to show off what Madison gave him. So you see Mason sitting on the couch overseeing this and looking in terms of what's happening at the moment, and you know Mason knew exactly who that bear belonged to and who Bear Alien was. He knew this, and I thought, it stings, don't it, Mason? It really stings, don't it, Mason? Because he really thought Madison was all about him along with Meg. So Madison in her VC turns around and says, I was able to show Alex that, you know, she is a good partner by giving him the bear. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to show you're a good partner to someone. Give them a bear and do nothing else. That's it. Hands washed, done. Dust done. Madison not have to do nothing else. Do you know what I mean? Because she's shown Alex what it is that she is, what she's about to be a good partner. Jesus, wet these people are, I don't know where they found these people from, but my God, I don't know. There's something so different about this cast. It's not like the other Love is Blind people, because after a while you kind of knew what you was getting, but with these ones you don't know what the fuck you're getting. Madison feels that her connection is now stronger with Alex. And I just thought, yes, because that's because you manipulated that man 6 ways to Sunday just so he wouldn't leave you. That's what it was. Jesus. But then after she says that about her connection with Alex, Madison goes on to then talk about Mason, and talks about how Mason says all the right things and he constantly affirms her, and that they, like, when they're together, they're always vibing out. And I thought, oh, Madison is as bad as Mason and Dave at this point. Like, seriously, Madison is not to be trusted right about now. And just for Paul's cause, yeah, when Madison says that Mason constantly affirms, It's the piss take, which I will get to, when she has a date with Mason and talks about her other connection, that being Alex, and says that Alex consistently affirms her, indicating that Mason does not. Yet in her VC, she says that Mason constantly affirms her. So which one the fuck is it? Which one is it, Madison? Like, seriously, which one? This is how I know Madison is playing the epic game of chess. This girl is not playing checkers. She is literally playing chess on these people's bloody minds. Like, seriously, she is. She really is. Mason and Madison have a date. And here you see all the gush going on. Mason wants to cuddle up with Madison. And I said, yeah, this is where the games are being played, because I'm telling you, Mason literally says what Madison wants to hear at each and every time, because he has literally drawn her number. The same with Meg. These men know exactly what to say at whatever given time. But the thing with Madison is you can only try that up to a point before Madison starts to bite back, whereas Meg will not do that, and that's showing through the freaking episode. So they just talk about the direction that their lives have taken, and Mason feels that, you know, he wasn't going to amount to much until he applied to USC, and then he got more serious about education. When Mason and Madison talk, you know, they bore the fuck out of me. I ain't gonna lie, they bore the fuck out of me, and both of them are so full of shit. I don't know if at the last date, which I will get to, whether that was Mason literally like saying, I need to fight for this girl, otherwise she's gonna slip through my fingers. Yeah, but Madison played her hand. Madison played her part very well to get Mason to that point. Do you know what I'm saying? And we will discuss this very, very soon. But Madison's good. Madison's good at what she does. She really does. So you see Meg again talking to another woman in the women's quarters, and of course she's carrying on about Mason. Meg has no other connections but Mason. Let's just put that out there. So she is going to set all her sights upon this man, because this is the man that she wants, and she wants to win out from Madison at the end of the day. She keeps on talking about how Mason's energy was low and him being confused. And I mean, I'm telling you guys, yeah, I watched that episode, yeah, as you saw from a previous video, and I didn't get that energy from them when I was watching it. I didn't get the energy that Mason's energy was low. Mason was just being Mason. I think Meg wanted to read more into the situation than what she really got, because what stung her was the fact that Mason turned around and said that he was confused each time he left the pods. And Meg knows why he's confused, because of the fact that he's dating Madison as well, because of the fact that he's got another connection with somebody else that he has to make a choice about in regards to making a choice with Meg, whereas Meg don't have no other connections but Mason. Meg does dominate the conversations though when she's with Mason. It's like she does talk a lot, and kind of like I find it hard to see where Mason can slot himself in with this girl, because she literally talks over him 24/7 and doesn't allow him the space in which to verbate his fucking feelings at the end of the day. So Meg and Mason had a date, and she did bring up the energy shift and told him about how it felt for her, saying that he was confused each time he left the pods after he had a date with her. And again, she doesn't come up for air. She goes on to say that, you know, because when she comes out of the dates with Mason, she feels absolutely confident, and all Mason said that in that part was yes, because he had no choice but to say that was the only bit he could freaking get out, because this girl just talks and talks and talks and talks and chats and chats and chats and chats. And then she goes on to say, like, you know, she really likes Mason, and she would like to feel that this could go somewhere. And at this point I was kind of like, you know what, Meg, just be quiet for an instance. Be quiet for an instance and allow this man to speak in order to get the answers that you are seeking. So Meg, to the end, at last asks him if he is actually feeling this or not, basically, between them. Mason is just literally messing with this hula hoop because I think he needs something for his hands to do, because you know what, the devil makes work for idle hands, and that's what Mason was doing at this moment in time. And he particularly says to Mason, I have never connected with anyone really the way that I've been connecting with you. I just thought, Mason, are you for real right now? Are you for real? After the whole episode that I just watched on this, and you literally, and I will get there, literally told Madison the same Ross thing. Yeah. I have no words for you like right now in terms of what the fuck it is that I'm watching, because I've never seen so much manipulation in all my Ross life. Like so many like lies that they don't remember what it is that they've said to the other person all at the same time. So for me, Mason is saying exactly what Meg wanted to hear. So basically he then turns around after all this is spoken about, that he's more confident when he gets out of the pods. So I was kind of like, so where did the confused insecurity go, Mason? The games. The games that these people playing. So Meg, rightfully so, is going to be happy with what Mason is saying, because she believed that he affirmed her feelings, when in actuality he didn't. He really didn't. Because at the same time he's affirming Madison at the same time. So he didn't. So maybe, I said maybe, Madison and Meg need to have a conversation. Like seriously, they need to have a little tete-a-tete. They need to talk to each other about the shit that is going on with Mason at the end of the day. So Mason talks to Meg about how, like, you know, they're dating multiple people and how terrifying it is. And Meg says, yes, but I want you to be with a girl that lights you up and you can see yourself with forever. Like, Meg, come on. Seriously, do you truly believe that shit? Because I know you didn't mean that shit. Because at the end of the day, Mason's Meg's only connection. She's gonna fight for that man. She ain't gonna listen to the words that are coming out of her mouth right about now. So Mason does a little digging and starts to ask how things are like in the women's lounge. I thought, my guy, you are so fucking transparent at the end of the day. What he really wants to know is what the hell Madison is saying, or if there's been any whispers over there about him. That's what he wants to know at the end of the day. But Meg takes the question at what he asked at face value, and she talked about how she had a little bit of meltdown and cried because of how hard it is. I don't think he really wanted to know that. Like, seriously, I don't think he wanted to know that, because the way he went, oh no, there was just nothing behind it at all. So then we get to Meg again, and she's just talking and talking and talking, and Mason does my head in. I ain't gonna lie, Mason does my head in, Meg does my head in, Madison does my head in too. That date was a madness. Like, seriously, that date was a madness. So as Meg comes out of that date and she gets into the women's quarters, she talks about how much she's in her feels with this man, basically. So we see Alex as well talking about like his date, and he speaks to Mason about his date and how it went, and Mason literally just pauses completely and says, oh, it was incredible. And I'm like, pull the other one, mate, because you got Meg back there in the women's quarters literally gloating and like how it went so well, and Mason's just like, yeah, it was incredible. So Alex asked him, okay, so is she your top then, the person that he just saw, which was Meg? And Mason went, no. This man is playing some kind of fuckery game. Like, seriously, some kind of fuckery game. That's why him and Madison should be together, because they're both fuckeries together. Like, seriously, them two are two fuckery people. Let me just put it this way. Let me just put it plain after watching this episode. Them two, they're on a different plane. They're on a different level of manipulation. Let me just put that out there for you right about now. So Alex is basically saying that he's got two top ones now. And he's saying that to Mason. And I thought, Alex, seriously, you do not want to go down this fucking rabbit hole with Mason. Like, seriously, you don't want to do that, because you just end up getting hurt in regards to any type of fucking conversations he's had with Madison at the end of the day. So Mason basically says, I like both women, but in different ways. I was like, no, Mason, you like yourself. And your game playing a lot more. But I have a feeling that because he knows Madison is talking to Alex and there could be a possible connection there, that he is going to try and step in between that and take Madison away from Alex, basically. Because a man, especially like Mason, yeah, and also like Dave, will go for someone that is not easily attainable, or if someone else is interested in them, just to say that they won out. That's how I'm seeing it. So in the women's lounge, you see Meg sitting with the rest of the women. You see Madison as well sitting with Meg and everybody else. So Meg decides, like, to ask if they have a date with two people, how will they choose? Of course Madison's going to, involve herself in that conversation, because she is dating two people, one of those Meg who is very much interested in. So I just thought to myself, Meg, you really don't want to go down this rabbit hole right about now either. But you know what? These people are a glutton for motherfucking punishment at the end of the day. Does she listen? No, she don't. She just continues. She wants to know what you feel you need to see from someone to be like, oh, they clinch it. So Madison says, I need them to be like, you're my girl. I want to do this with you. But I'm like, when you're saying that, Madison, who the fuck are you wishing for is the question at the end of the day. Who are you wishing to say that? Because you have Alex and Mason on the line at the end of the day. And to be fair, I feel like you're stringing Alex a merry game, to be honest with you. Because I really do believe that Madison wants Mason, but she isn't making it known at this point in time. So Meg confirmed at that point in time, conveniently, that she is down to number one. She is down to just Mason. I mean, we already knew this. And I think Mason knows this too, or I thought Mason knew this. And just like I thought that Madison did not know that Meg was dating Mason, actually Madison does know that Meg is dating Mason, basically. I had the feeling, in terms of the dates itself, that Mason does not truly like Meg. He likes the chase of dating two women at once. The same with Dave too. But I truly believe that he does not necessarily like Meg. So now Madison and Meg are starting to have this deep kind of talk. And at this point, Madison is unaware that Meg knows Madison is dating Mason. And Madison doesn't even know Meg is dating him too at this point. I will say at this point. So Meg says to Madison, like, if her date found his person, she would be happy for him. Something tells me no, Meg would not. And something tells me within this conversation, Meg is being a little bit passive aggressive. You can say whatever you need to say in the comment section, but I'm telling you, this girl, this Meg, has a set plan in terms of how she feels she's going to get her man, and get her man she will. At the end of the day, that's what she wants to do. So then Lauren and Dave have a date. I forgot about these two, to be honest with you. And Lauren talks about how things in the girls' lounge are different, and she believes that the girls are treating her differently. Now, me myself, when I've been watching it, they don't show much of the girls' lounge, but it doesn't show people have been treating Lauren differently, because what I've found with some of the girls when they're dating the same men and they're really into the same men, bearing in mind Lauren knows that Dave is dating Molly, yeah, but Molly does not know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Lauren is dating Dave. So I believe that Lauren is feeling a little bit awkward in that situation. So when Molly is talking about Dave, she removes herself from that situation and then believes that other people are treating her differently, when in actuality they're not. They're seriously not. I think Lauren has very much got into her head and let Molly get to her at the end of the day. She's talking about how she can't figure out why people are treating her differently. I've already said they're not. They really ain't. She talks about how she's going to be a little bit more guarded in the lounge. I don't know how much more guarded this girl can be, because she's like Fort Knox at this moment in time, and she won't literally integrate with some of the girls who integrate with Molly. She will keep her weight away from Molly and keep herself separate, which in turn probably causes her overthinking. So I already done said, yeah, that these people stop chat their business up in that women's lounge, but each season do they listen? No, they freaking don't. They keep doing the same thing over and over again, not realizing that this is the point of the show. You date multiple people, obviously you're going to start feeling connections to the same people that other people are dating. Do you know what I mean? What you have to do is try and keep a cool head about you and be yourself in order to win out from the other person. You don't need to go and tell that the whole lounge how you're thinking and feeling about that person, the way that Molly does, the way that Meg does. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to do that in order to catch the attention of the man that you are hoping to walk away with. So Lauren basically then wants to talk about children. So Lauren starts off talking about how her closest friends are in their 30s, and of course Dave says, "You are old, let's crank this up a notch." Then says, "I'm kidding." I was like, "No, you're not. You really ain't." Dave is not kidding when it comes to this shit, because he's done it more than once now when he talks about age. Yeah, so if he thinks a woman in his 30s is old, that he's dating right now and saying he has a connection with, is old, yeah, it's coming across to me as a feeling to me that Dave is one of those guys that likes to date young. He'll be one of those guys in his 40s still trying to date a 20-year-old. That's how it's coming across to me. You like can let me know what you think, but that is how it's coming across to me. So Dave brings up people in the men's lounge saying, "Oh, when I get my phone back, they're gonna have to delete things and yada yada yada." He says that he won't have to delete anything because he says he hasn't talked to a girl in a while. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that one. Dave is lying. Him lie. He's lying somewhere. So this was meant to be a chat about kids. It turned into something else completely. So this day, I have to say, on a whole, was shit, to be honest. To me, it was painful. It was absolutely painful to watch. I don't think Dave is really interested in Lauren all that much, and I think he's really stringing along because, like with Mason, I think he just likes the fact that he has the chase of two women at the same time. And although he says that Molly is the type of person that he always tends to go for, but Lauren is completely something different, something new. She's a teacher, she's a nerd, and da. And that's the reason why he is kind of forming this connection with Lauren too. I don't believe that in the slightest. I still think he's going to go for his tried, tested and new at the end of the day. And I believe that he's going to go for Molly. That's how I'm seeing it. So Dave turns around and he says to Lauren that he can see himself proposing to Lauren. I said, 2 twos. How much you want to bet he says that to Molly too? Do you know what I mean? So Dave feels like him coming into Love is Blind is basically him coming into the person that he's meant to be. And he says that he doesn't actually act this way in the real world. I'm I gonna have to say? This man is full of it to me, like seriously. And Lauren is fully sucked in by this man. She don't question nothing in regards to what this man says in the slightest. She literally takes everything at face value, or should I say voice value, because you know they can't see each other. Do you know what I mean? So even in his VC, I don't believe Dave. I really don't believe it. I don't. So then you see Dave and Molly have a date, and Molly tells Dave that she's actually not talking to anybody else actually. So Dave responds with, that doesn't make me in control, but it makes me confident. I was like, bruh, is that what you gonna say to that? Really? I thought Lauren ain't talking to nobody else, and you literally ain't took that into your cerebral cortex as to why this gal is into you the same way Lauren is into you. So I'm just like, this is Dave controlling that whole situation. So when he talks about, it doesn't make me in control, it makes me confident. No, you are in control of that situation, because you, Dave, then gets to choose which one he wants, Molly or Lauren. At the end of the day, he gets to hit that red fucking buzzer and say, meh, not you, X. Do you know what I mean? Oh, God. Save us from these people, please. But it's the fact that we continue to watch them. That's what it is. It may be painful, but it's the fact that we continue to watch them. So in his presentation with Molly, he's the same as he is with Lauren. Like, I don't think he listens to anything that they say at times, but he just knows exactly where to put in his little ad-libs. That's how it comes across to me. He's perfected this art over a lifetime. Dave and Molly's date was it was boring. Dave is boring. He bores me. At the end of the day, I just think him and Molly at times just literally coast along the surface level and don't actually dig a little bit deep. So then Dave starts talking political affiliations. He starts talking about like abortions, and but in the most basic sense with Molly. It's good that they have these conversations, but when these two are doing it, it wasn't effective at all, because to me it was like a conversation with no substance at all. Like they were just glossing over the actual issues in regards to like political affiliations and talking about abortion rights or this, that and the other. And Molly was just like, yeah, I agree with you. So Molly decides to do this exercise, and she's going to ask him some questions. So she asked Dave, how would you feel if your child came to you and told you they were LGBTQIA+. Dave said, the right thing in I would be proud that they mustered up the courage to tell me. But why would your child have to muster up the courage to tell you, Dave? Like, seriously. Because at the end of the day, you should have said that you would have created a safe space in order for your child to know that you won't feel any which way if they came and told you what they needed to tell you, because you love them regardless. Also, number 2, Dave did not answer that question at all. He did not share how he would actually feel about his child coming to him to tell him they were part of the LGBTQIA+ community. He did not say how he felt about that. He just gave, the most basic motherfucking answer to me, and Molly agreed with him. Then he goes back again to talking about politics, because he's going to deflect from that little scenario, because I think it was very much uncomfortable for Dave. I really, really do. And then he talks about how being a stay-at-home mum shouldn't be seen as a negative. And I just sat there thinking, where the fuck did that conversation come from? Like, seriously, where did that conversation come from? So Molly says that she feels emotionally connected to Dave. And Dave feels the same way. Yeah, he does. He feels the same way. But she didn't get the whole thing that he said to Lauren, though. That he could feel himself or see himself proposing to her. He's playing something. He is, he is. So, we get back to the women's quarters, and the girls decide to build a fort. So, Sarah asks Molly in this fort, after they've built it, bearing in mind Lauren is laying in that fort listening, about Dave. And Molly proceeds to confirm that Dave gave her the affirmation that she was his number one. I was like, bitch, where? Where did Dave provide you that affirmation? Because I was watching the same motherfucking program you lot were, and I didn't see Dave not provide one affirmation. Not one. Not in the way that he provided an affirmation to Lauren is he could see himself proposing to Lauren. Not once did he say that to Molly. So I don't know where Molly is going with this. And this is why I kind of think that Molly knows that Dave is dating Lauren. She must do. Because this kind of bullshit, I don't know where this will come from. So, Dave may be a player in this game, yeah. But he's intentional, I will say, on what he says to each of the women that he's with at the end of the day. And he did not affirm Molly. No way, no how. He didn't at all. So Meg feels that she will be Dave's fiance, but she doesn't want to jinx it. I just thought at this part, Lauren was lying there, like you could see this girl was fuming and stewing. But I just thought, my girl, you need to hold it, because at the end of the day, you can't show that she's got to you in that way. You really can't show that, because I don't fully know if Molly knows Dave is talking to Lauren. This is my little assumption that probably she does know after this conversation that she had under this bloody fort, knowing that Lauren was in the near vicinity. So I believe that what Molly is doing is she's doing it on purpose, like seriously, because this is what these people don't seem to get, that in the more you string these women along, the more you string these men along from the women's side as well, someone is going to get hurt, and they're going to get hurt badly. Because even though these people like to play their games, there's majority of them in there that are actually looking for a love match, that are actually looking to get hitched and get married, to find their life partner through this process. And this is where people don't seem to like comprehend that fact at the end of the day. So Lauren gets up and she leaves that tent, and as I said, gal was fuming, and all you can hear is Molly saying, I'm so smitten. I'm like, gal, we hear you loud and clear. And this is why you're not chat your business up in that room. Not chat your business up in that room, especially in the women's quarters, because this is the shit that snowballs. Like seriously. And I have to say, at the end of that conversation, I did feel it for Lauren at the end of the day. So then we see Virginia and Devin have a date, and I'm gonna say, before I get into the dates that Devin had, that we are not seeing much of the black couples within this at all, because there are a lot of black women, and there is another few black men within the men's lounge as well. We don't see their journeys at all. Even though we see Devin, we don't see his journey either with Virginia or with Brittany. We don't see it at all. We see all the mess of the other people, but we don't see these enough. And I'm gonna have to call it out as I see it. It's unfair. It literally is unfair, because things may be going semblancely well with Devon, because you know Devon is a straight arrow. He is not doing the whole messy full thing that Dave and Mason is doing, and that Madison is doing, that Meg is doing, and that Molly is doing, in that sense. So it's unfair that they will go for the mess full thing and not show actually there's a man here that is actually trying to progress to see who it is that he's going to choose out of Virginia and Brittany, and he's not disrespecting them in any way, shape or form. And both women know that they are dating him and that they are interested in him, and they're not backbiting in the slightest, especially when they go back in the women's lounge. So I don't understand why we're not seeing this story enough. Anyway, back to the date between Virginia and Dave. So Virginia talks about, like, you know, what she would want in 5 years. She talks about, like, you know, she's not dated anyone like Devin, and I believe that she's definitely falling for Devin. Devin feels that he wants to get that little bit deeper with Virginia, and basically does tell Virginia that he is not the type of person that will go down on one knee if he doesn't know her and can see her being his wife. But basically he believes that Virginia is holding back on something. So whatever it is, Virginia needs to let it out. She needs to get past that point of uncomfortability in order to open herself up to the possibility of this man choosing her. Because I think the way that I'm seeing it, Devon is a good one. At the end of the day, Devon is a good one. He's doing what is supposed to come in terms of dating people, and he's only got the two. He has got the two of them, but as I said, he's not disrespectful in the slightest. So you see Brittany and Devon have a date. I'd have to say that them two are good together. Devon with Virginia is different. He's a lot deeper and a lot more soulful with Virginia. But with Brittany, it's more fun, it's more bubbly, it's more character building. And he says that he still can't decide between the both of them, but he better do soon at the end of the day. So he does get to go deep with Brittany, and there is another level, another depth to them as well. But will they make a marriage work? I don't know. I really don't know, because as Devin says, that Brittany is the type of girl that he would normally go for, and Virginia is literally way out of his depth in that sense. So then we see Alex and Madison have a date. Someone tell me why this girl decided to tell Alex about dating another guy, aka Mason. We know it's Mason, who is dating Meg, but she isn't upset about it. Is that weird? Is that weird, or is it just me? Because I find that hella weird. Because why are you leading with that with the guy that you're talking to? Do you know what I mean? The guy that you say you have a connection with. So then she goes on a little another tangent and goes in with the compliments with Alex, and she's feeling all the feels with him. These people are delusional, because Madison is literally playing a higher level of manipulation than I've ever seen before in my vast life on this earth. Let's just put it that way. So she's playing Alex like a fiddle. She says she never wants to put pressure on him, and I was like, really? You don't want to put pressure on this boy, but this is all that you've been doing in this motherfucking date. Let's just put it that way. So now she says, after all the tomfoolery that she's been going on with you, she wants to focus just on Alex. Full of bullshit. This girl is full of it. So Alex does play into it. He does play into it and gives her what she wants. So he shouts to her, "It's just me and you, baby." And she says, "Really?" I says, "Mate, Madison, come on. You orchestrated this, so yes, really." It's what he's saying at the end of the day. So they play this kind of question game. I won't get into it. So basically Madison tells Alex about the deepness in her is in regard to she gets so stressed at times that she can't eat, and then that leads into her speaking to him about how she disassociates from her own body, as when she was looking after her family when she was 17 in the realms of the situation that she was in, she used to call herself a robot, which led to her disassociating from eating. So she tells Alex that this still happens today at times. So Alex, as a dude does, in the terms of who Alex is, says that, ask her how can he help her in that situation. Does she need support within that situation? And she basically tells him that there's nothing he or anyone else can do. So basically, to me, that was Madison warning Alex, that she will disassociate from you when the time comes. She will literally run from you under the guise of disassociating when the time comes. I told you Madison ain't done no work on herself. Alex will be left in the wind sometimes, and I don't know how he's going to cope with this essence of Madison. So Madison is basically telling Alex it's her responsibility and he cannot be there to save the day for her. And at that point I was like, mate, what do you believe a marriage is? Is it not a partnership at the end of the day? So maybe your partner, your husband, wants to be there in your time of need, and he's asking you, what do you want me to do to make things better for you? But does Madison get that? No. She don't get that. So my question would be is, how is Alex supposed to navigate that shit? This is why I said these two should not be together. They should not be together. So she does not see it affecting a relationship in a negative way. You can see Alex is setting back again, due to this thing that Madison has literally placed into his lap, being a freaking wild card, and there's nothing that he can do about it at this moment in time. So she says that she describes that she goes into autopilot. I find with Madison that she's always trying to talk Alex in to looking at it from her point of view of where she wants him to be when she shares something that scares him. She wants Alex to trust her, and I'm just like, mate, if this was being pushed onto me and I'm only just dating you in these motherfucking pods, I don't know you in a real life, do you know what I mean? I would be fucking scared too. Alex don't really know Madison, and Madison don't really know Alex. This is literally them getting to know each other within these pods, and it's only so much that people can give that you will get to know until you actually get to see them in real life at the end of the day. So my thing is at the end of the day, Alex's reservations in regards to Madison are valid, and Madison needs to stop talking him down each time and making him doubt his own feelings, because Madison's not playing fair at all. She really well and truly isn't. So Alex turns around and says that he thinks he is fine with it, and like watching that date, we could tell that dude was not fine with it at all. He was just giving Madison what she wants to hear at that point in time. I think Madison doesn't truly appreciate why Alex would be scared of what she's saying, because at the end of the day, just like her, Alex has been in traumatic experiences as well, right? And she turned around and she said, which I will agree with at this point, that Alex's natural inclination is to be fearful. But then on the flip side, I'm kind of like, but damn Madison, you literally told that man a lot within the space of 2 damn days, and you literally expect him to deal with the bullshit that you just threw his way. It's like you're slowly drip feeding him your bullshit, slowly drip feeding him the fact that actually you say you've worked on yourself, you say you recognize this, you say you recognize that, but you haven't necessarily done the work. You haven't necessarily done the groundwork at the end of the day. Madison, I would say, is kind of full of herself. She likes to talk about herself and her woes a lot, and gets slightly offended when someone says they don't know if they can be there through her issues. But Alex says he will trust, and he has a big decision to make and doesn't want to get it wrong. But I feel Madison is pushing Alex in a direction that she wants him to go, way too much, like seriously way too much. So then we see Meg and Mason have a date, and Meg be screaming because there's a spider. So basically Meg decides to ask Mason if he were planning to have sex on the getaway, and Mason says that he would plan to have sex with his fiance on that getaway, whoever he chose. And Meg says she doesn't want to have sex outside of a committed relationship. And I thought, well, does being engaged to a stranger count? Because that person will be your fiance in all intents and purposes at the end of the day. So does having sex with them count at the end of the day? Because then it's not technically outside of a committed relationship, is it? Because they're engaged to you. Just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. I then got confused by what Meg said next. Because even though she said that she wouldn't have sex outside of a committed relationship, Mason didn't look remotely interested. But what confused me was Meg then fans herself and talking about how much she misses sex, and talks about how she last had sex in 2022. And I thought, mate, that was your self-imposed ban at the end of the day. And this is why I'm just kind of like, these people are just like wowing me in my whole cerebral right now. Like, they're literally slapping me in my cerebral and my eyeballs, as if to say, what you are seeing is not real. Like, seriously, the way they contradict themselves, the way that honestly contradict themselves is astonishing. Like, fully astonishing. So Meg asked Mason what his fantasy is. This man starts laughing, so I thought, oh, it's gonna be something good, it's gonna be something juicy. This man talks about role playing. I thought mundane, that's the fucking norm for most men out there, man. Can't you switch it up a little bit? Meg and Mason I don't know about. I truly don't know about. So as they then end the date, Meg shouted out to him, I miss you. Mason didn't say it. He didn't say it. So Meg honestly believed that Mason had left the room, and she's laying on the couch, and she turns around and talks to herself and says, why doesn't he ever say I miss you back? I thought, girl, need him much? Like, honestly, Mason is playing motherfucking devil's advocate out here right now. Meg has put herself in competition with a woman, namely Madison. A, he was chatting to someone else, and B, at that point, I believed, didn't know Meg was dating Mason. So Meg comes out of that room and says to Brittany that she's got it bad. You got it bad when you're on the phone. Come up and you don't. And yeah, enough of that. This woman really don't know how to shush. Like, Meg needs to know how to shush. So again, as Meg gets in the room, yeah, she don't know when to shut her mouth. So now she's there saying that, you know, Mason came in with a different energy and it got hot. And I thought, Meg, you rotted liar. You absolute liar. This is the point that I knew that Madison knew that Meg is dating Mason. But I think Meg was wanting to do this in her behaviour, which she's been doing previously, to push it in Maddie's face to make her make a choice, basically, because Meg knows that Madison has a connection with another person in there. So I think Meg was trying to orchestrate that feeling within Madison in terms of, like, you know, girl code, yeah, in terms of Madison, then literally pulling back on her connection with Mason or her dates with Mason to literally allow Meg free reign in order to get what it is that she wants, with Madison then going and picking Alex. That's the game plan I saw going on at the end of the day. But that's not how it turned out. Like, seriously, that's not how it turned out. So Madison and Mason have a date, and this was the most rotted interesting date of all. So Madison decides to raise from the get-go, yeah, that she knows Mason and this other girl have a great connection. And I thought, why did you have to raise that? I thought, why even mar your date chatting about an ex-woman for? But I thought, this is the art of manipulation that I was talking about. It's on greater levels with Madison. She knows how to play this game like a mofo, yeah. So Mason asked Madison if the girl in question, when she comes out of the dates, is glowing immaculately. I thought, Mason, you are so transparent. Madison says yes, that, you know, Meg was glowing immaculately, yada yada yada. So Madison puts the feels out towards Mason in regards to whether the boys are talking, and Mason says no, they don't mention any names. And Madison says, but you can kind of tell, can't you? I thought, oh, Madison is playing the flippin' fucking reverse it here, love. Like, she's Uno in your arse, Mason. Like, proper. So Mason says no. And I thought, my guy, you a liar, because you knew from the bear that Alex brought in with him that Alex was dating Madison. So that's how I know you're lying. Yeah, I don't know what game Madison is playing, but this girl really, I think she's pulling people, and she definitely is. Like, seriously, you thought I was going to say something different on it. She definitely is. That master manipulator comes out to play again. Madison was taking no prisoners in this state. Let me just put it that way. So Mason says he'll be talking to people regardless. So to me, that felt like it was kind of a warning to Madison. Just because I'm talking and vibing with you don't mean I'm gonna lock it off for you. Do you know what I mean? Madison right at this point be full of it. So Mason now says that he feels uncomfortable because he has a strong connection with Madison. And I'm just like, I'm tired of the bullshit. Please, hands up, who else sees the bullshit over here? Because I seriously see the bullshit over here. Mason says that he doesn't want to ruin the connection he feels for Madison. But he feels it's wrong because he's in a relationship with multiple women and he doesn't want to hurt Madison. I just thought someone's going to get hurt regardless at the end of the day. So Madison says that she wasn't hurt, but she was playing with Madison. Madison, you full of shit. Madison knew exactly what she was doing in regards to how she was putting this information across. Madison, that's stupid. Yeah, she's quite a clever girl. Actually, she is a very clever girl. So Mason said he has never broken up with someone. They always break up with him when Madison asked him. So he basically, Madison says, well, why is that? And he basically said he's always been the one wanting to make it work. So Mason kind of has issues there. So basically it was for him that the people that he's with always tend to fall in love with somebody else. So Mason kind of likes the intensity of feeling all the feelings, even though he knows he may get hurt at the end of it. And of course Madison was the breaker upper, and Mason didn't seem to like that when he got that answer, because he asked the question, she answered it truthfully. So they then talk about their connection, and Mason says honestly he feels there is no one in this show, this scenario, that makes him feel the way that Madison does. I was like, wheel and come and get my selector. Because what, bruh? Nah, brother, you a lie. Brother, you a lie. Lie, because that's what you told Meg too. So Madison, I have to give her props. I do. She ain't like Meg. She's not afraid to say what she wants to say. So she asked Mason what that means. My gal put Mason on the spot. That man didn't have a ready answer for that at all, because he was not expecting that. He was expecting it to be glossed over at that point. So he talks about there, like being something there with Madison right away. So he talks about how he's developed these feelings with Madison. So Madison then talks about, like, you know, how do you know you're not comparing relationships when they are so different? And she talks about all the connections that he has and not having to think about the girl's feelings too. I thought Mason's ass must be itching at this conversation at this point, right? I do have to give it to Madison again, because she ain't letting none of this bullshit fly. I'm like, this is how you needed to be, Meg. Like, seriously, this is how you needed to be with Mason in order to find out what it is that you honestly and truly wanted to find out. So Madison tells Mason, at this point, it's make or break at the end of the day. And I was like, well. What say you, Mason? What say you? Madison seems to be playing at this point to me into Meg's playbook, basically, in regards to literally putting out there, because she's talking about how she needs to, how it's difficult for her because she knows that this other girl, namely Meg, because Mason knows who she's talking about, has literally said to everybody in that room that Mason is one and done. That's it. She ain't seeing nobody else. This is how she feels about this man. She wants him or it's no one. And Mason didn't know that information, but now he knows that information at the end of the day. So Madison is backing Mason into a freaking corner right now. So the thing that she does have to be careful of is that if Mason does make a choice, at the end of the day, that's not going to be probably the choice that he wanted to make, but Madison has backed him into that corner. And Madison says, like, with her connection, she's getting more of an affirmation from them, and that's only because Alex said to Madison, it's me and you, baby girl. That's all he said, and that's what Madison wanted to hear. She has not heard that from Mason yet. Oh, it's like Madison's playing a fierce game right now. She's playing a fierce game right now. So Mason doesn't like the fact that she has got words of affirmation from somebody else. So I'm kind of like, well, you gotta pull your big pants up, my guy. You gotta literally say what it is the fuck you want to say round about now, otherwise you're gonna lose this girl. Well, Madison's making him think he's gonna lose her, but he ain't at the end of the day. She's literally boxing him in this corner, basically. So he talks about how he says what they have is real, and he has never felt this way about Madison, and that Madison means a lot to him. So Mason says he does not want to throw this connection away. So I'm like, okay, Mason, you said all of this, but what it is that you are really saying at the end of the day? Is it going to be a case of you're going to fish or cut bait with either Madison or Meg? What are you doing? So I have never seen, all I'm going to say is manipulation played so epically as the way that Madison does it. There's levels to her craft. Mason got emotionally slapped within that day, like absolutely emotionally slapped within that day. He didn't know which way was left, which way was right, which way was up, which way was down. By the time he walked back into that men's lounge, that man was quiet as a motherfucking church mouse, and that's what Madison did. So Meg, again, as Madison walks back into the room, is spouting off against Mason. I'm just like, she's doing my head in, like really doing my head in. So as Madison walks in, and for the first time, because Madison's usually quite quiet about the shit that she's going on with, yeah, she talks. Madison talks about Mason, and Meg is fully tuning in. So it's Madison's turn to turn that knife, and I thought, these gals are fighting motherfucking dirty right about now, yeah. So Meg responds to Madison's little clapback, yeah, and talks about how it's Hunger Games, it's the Hunger Games, it's dog eat dog. And I was just like, with Meg, my thing is she comes with the fire in the women's lounge, but then don't back it up in the pods with Mason. At least Madison, I would say, stands on business, even if it is to use Meg as a freaking stepping stone. And you see, with that little beach fest that was going on, even though people watching may not think it was a beach fest, it was. Between Meg and Madison, there was a standoff going on there, yeah, and that's where that episode ended. But I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always say, my people, my renegades, my lovelies, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the things that you do, because you know I am on the road to 1K, and I will speak to you all again soon. Peace out.